students, welcome back to English Classes Online. My name is Benjamin. Today's video is on how to score high with a simple letter that meets the Waec marking criteria. This is part of the West African Senior School Certificate Examination English preparatory lesson. If you are preparing to sit for the West African Senior School Certificate Examination or the National Examinations Council Senior School Certificate Examination or NAPTEP or any other senior certificate examination, then this video will be very helpful, very useful to you. If you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe to the channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Click on the bell icon as well, so that whenever a new video goes live on this channel, you will be notified instantly. Let's dive into the lesson right away. Now, what is Koema? Of course, Koema is an acronym that I use in referring to the Waec marking criteria, and you can see them here. C stands for content, and content, content will always win 10 marks. 10 marks are allotted to content. I will explain what this means and how you can make sure they are taken care of in your essay writing or letter writing, depending on the one you choose. Now, content has 10 marks, organization 10 marks, expression 20 marks, and mechanical accuracy has 10 marks. So altogether, of course, you have 50 marks, all right? Altogether, you have 50 marks. So that's exactly what you have altogether, a total of 50 marks. Yeah, so that's what essay writing carries in the senior school certificate examination. And this is why it is important we pay adequate attention to essay writing, because it carries the highest marks. All right. So having said that, let's go into other areas. Now let's look at the past question we want to look for, use for illustration. And that is taken from West African Senior School Certificate Examination of June 2017. Essay writing is part of the English language theory questions, and it is specifically in section A, which is essay. Now, question 1, if you have your past question papers, you can refer to the year 2017, and then you will find theory section, theory part with section A, question 1. Your father has just built a new house for the family. Write a letter to your elder brother who lives abroad, describing the new house and the prestige it has accorded your family. All right, so that is the letter we are going to use for illustration, and we are going to come up with a sample letter that you can follow, all right? That will give you a template so that when you want to write a letter in your English exam, then you can follow these steps and you'll be able to write a simple letter that meets the Waec marking criteria. I've shown you the criteria: C for content, O for organization, E for expression, MA for mechanical accuracy, and that is Koema. All right, so now let's first look at features of informal letter. Now, how do we know that it is an informal letter? Now, your father has just built a new house. It's now talking about someone you share a personal relationship with, for the family. It's all personal. Write a letter to your elder brother. Your elder brother is also someone you share a personal relationship with, even though he lives abroad. All right, so that shows you it's an informal letter. And I will explain further as we move on. Now, the features of an informal letter are as follows. All right. The first one is the writer's address followed by the date. All right. So if you come up here, then you can start like this. For example, all right. Let's assume you want to write Ojo High School. All right. Ojo, Lagos State. Now, since you are going to write to someone abroad, it's important you include, the country name. All right, so your address will be here. You can move it a little bit forward. All right, so then followed by the salutation. The salutation will be somewhere here. That's the salutation. The salutation for an informal letter is either, dear father, dear mother, dear John, dear sister. Now you're asked to write to your elder brother. You can write dear brother, or you can use your brother's first name. Then followed by the content of the letter, which should have three main parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. We are going to look at all this. Then the next will be the subscription. Your subscription is yours sincerely. And when you write your subscription, you have to ensure that your subscription is, on the same line with your address. Let's assume we want to write our subscription. We make sure it lines up with this. When we are through with everything, and we make sure the Y in yours is capital, and the S in sincerely is a small letter. And then you put a comma after that. Let's assume that your name is Rose, for example. Simply write Rose and put a full stop. All right, so this is your subscription. All right, this is what we mean by subscription. All right, then this is your address. All right, then the body of your letter, we are going to explain that, your introduction, your body, and so on. All right, now followed by your first name and full stop. So you can see the first name here, you can see the full stop. So that is exactly the way it is. These are the features of a letter. All right, so let's have uh, a clean slide. So as we move to our next page, we will be able to see quite clearly. Let's move this away. Now, one thing that is really important when writing a letter, an article, a speech, a story, a report, whatever form of writing you want to embark upon in your English exam, planning is paramount. Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, obviously. So before you write, you plan your writing. And you start by analyzing the question and identifying the Koema requirements. What do I mean by Koema requirements? Content, organization, expression, and mechanical accuracies. Now, your question will determine, these requirements. So let me take you through this so that when you are in the exam hall, you pick your question paper and you identify the particular question you want to answer or the topic you want to write on. Then you follow this simple procedure so that you get it right. Now, the question is this: your father has just built a new house for the family. Write a letter to your elder brother who lives abroad describing the new house and the prestige it has accorded your family. Now, what you are required to write, that's exactly what we are going to look at. Most students, perform poorly in English language exams because they have started failing through their poor performance in essay writing. I have just shown you that essay writing alone carries 50 marks. If you do well in this part of the exam, surely you will do well in the overall exam. If you do badly in this part of the exam, it will affect your overall performance. Now, first, you identify what you are required to write. Number one, what exactly are you required to write? That is the starting point. And here you are asked to write what? A letter. Now take note of this. You are asked to write a letter. Write a letter. Now take note of that. Now, as an English teacher for so many years at the secondary school, I have always marked students' scripts, and sometimes you find a student who even fails to write an address, all right? And so you begin to ask, is this a letter that has no address, all right? It's obviously not a letter. So you have to take note of the fact that you are asked to write a letter. So what does this mean? You are not asked to write a story. You are not asked to write an article. You are not asked to write a speech or a report. You are asked to write a letter, and the letter has an address or addresses depending on the type of letter. So you need to identify whether it is a formal, informal, or semi-formal letter. And how do you identify this? The second point you need to examine: to whom? To whom are you required to write this letter? Write a letter to your elder brother. All right, this is the person you are asked to write to. Now, the person you are asked to write to obviously determines whether the letter is formal or informal. All right. If you are asked to write to the Minister of Education, you don't have a personal relationship with the Minister of Education. So, and because you are writing to somebody who occupies an official position and you are going to discuss official matters, that makes it an official letter. So it is a formal letter. Now, an informal letter is a letter you write to someone with whom you share a personal relationship. And because you share a personal relationship with your brother, this is an informal letter. So take note of this. To your brother who lives abroad, take note of the fact that your brother lives abroad, because it also has some implication as regards the organization, specifically the address. So this is an informal letter. We have already identified that. Then the implications, what are the Koema requirements? There are requirements in terms of organization. Of course, in this first one, because it's a letter, there are implications for organization because you have to start it with an address, and that actually gives it a definite structure. The organization means that the various parts or units or features or components of that structure need to be arranged in a particular order. And that is what the examiner is interested in under organization. So it has a letter, it has an address, and here, because it is an informal letter, it has only one address, that is your own, the writer's address. But because your brother lives abroad, your address has to include the country name. If you are writing to someone within the country, you can put a full stop after your state. But since you are writing to someone outside the country, you need to include the country name. Now, because it is an informal letter, there will be no title. A formal letter has a title or a topic, but an informal letter has not. So these are the Koema requirements. These are the implications, all right? Then expression, informal use of language. So here we are looking at expression here is part of Koema. And expression is very important. It carries 20 marks, double the marks of the others. So you need to identify the variety of language you are asked to use in an informal letter. We are going to talk about this. All right, so 3, for what purpose? That's the next thing we have to look at. Now, the purpose of this letter is to describe the new house that your father has just built and the prestige it has accorded your family. These are 2 specific points. So here you take note at the specific points to talk about, because it makes no sense to just keep writing and you are not really discussing the specific points, the exact points that the examiner wants you to discuss. Now, you are going to score maximum marks under content if you discuss exactly what the examiner has asked you to discuss. You talk about what you are supposed to talk about and not really beating about the bush as most candidates do, which of course is why they perform very, very poorly in essay writing. All right. So to do justice to this discussion, you need to draw an outline. Very, very important. An outline is simply a list of those points, those specific points you are going to discuss, so that when you start discussing them, your mind won't just go blank and you begin to waste time. If you take a few minutes and jot down these points, then you won't forget anything. Once you start discussing, you pick each point and you discuss it, and you go to the next one. So the 4th point you have to take note of before you start writing is how well, your language use. The expression, very important. We have talked about the use of language, then your accurate use of mechanics. Excuse me. And when we are talking about accurate use of mechanics, we are talking about the rules of written language, such as punctuation, such as spelling, and so on and so forth. That is what mechanical accuracy is all about. So we have been able to look at the Koema requirements, that is the things that are required in writing this letter so that you will meet the Waec marking criteria. You know, you are going to write a simple letter, but this simple letter is going to meet Waec's marking criteria. And once you meet the criteria, then of course you will win maximum marks. So let's look at the question right away. Once again, your father has just built a new house for the family. Write a letter to your elder brother who lives abroad describing the new house and the prestige it has accorded your family. All right, so let's now move on. Now, this is where we write the letter, but I would want us to look at this place. Of course, it has to do with the size of this slide. So you can see specifically that this address needs to be moved forwards a little bit to this side, all right? If you have so much space in the right-hand side, then you need to move that forward. I can as well do that right away here. All right, let's try to do that. Let's try to move that a bit forward. I want to show you, something about organization so that you won't make any mistake. All right. All right. So having done that, so let's now, so it's a little bit better. You could still move it a little bit further, but let's just to give you some idea as to how well organized your letter should be. So here we are starting with the address. But before we write, let's try to see how we can draw an outline. Already I told you an outline is a list of the points. Now don't forget that what we are asked to write, we are asked to discuss is, a description of the new house that Daddy has built. So what are we going to do about that? When you want to describe a new house, how do you start? Well, you may start probably with the physical features. Let's say physical features. From there, we can probably move towards the physical features. We may not use there. All other things are also features. There are a lot of physical features. Let's talk about the structure. So in this case, we may talk about the location and the physical feature and the physical structure. All right? The location and the physical structure, okay? Then we may talk about facilities. All right, facilities. Then we can talk about the neighborhood. Can talk about the neighborhood and prestige. Well, let's just put it like that. You just put in something that will help you to, so neighborhood and prestige. Well, so now it is important you discuss at least three main points. In the West African Senior School Certificate examinations, in most cases, the examiner requires you to discuss at least three main points, all right? This has actually been established over time. So that means you can conveniently write a 5-paragraph letter if you like. You discuss at least three main points in the body of your letter. All right. So so this is our outline. We are going to discuss the location and the physical structure of the house. We are going to talk about the facilities, and then we are going to talk about the neighborhood, the the kind of reception, or treatments we get from the neighbors in that neighborhood. All right, because we are asked also to discuss the prestige that the house has accorded the family. So this is why you have to include that. Now, having planned it, and take note, we are just writing this here because we are teaching here. It's not when you are writing, you don't put your outline within the same sheet of paper where you are writing your letter. If you are in an exam, what you do is that you take your answer sheet, your answer booklet, and then you do your outline on the last page or one of the last pages. You just jot the points down on one page there, after which you just cancel it out. The examiner will understand that you have used this as a rough sheet of paper, because you are not required to come in with any rough sheet of paper, and in most cases, the invigilators may frown at your using the question paper for jotting down points. All right, so the only option is to use a page within your answer booklet, and then you cancel it out after you have used it. Now, having said this, let's now look at, we begin with the address. A letter begins with an address, so we are writing Hope High School, Ojo, PO Box 311. You can invent an address, Apapa, Lagos, Nigeria, May 13, 2021. There are specific things to take note of, and the first one is the fact that you have this well punctuated. Hope High School, comma, Ojo, comma, PO Box, comma, 311, comma, Apapa, comma, Lagos, comma, because you are writing to your elder brother abroad, so you include the country name. And so after Nigeria, you put a full stop. Then take note of the fact also that your date has a comma, May 13 or 13th May, comma, 2021, full stop. So, and this is the block style. We call this the block style, all right, which is appropriate for either formal or informal letter. You have an option to use what is called indented or slant, you know, uh, style. In that case, you have to write it, slanting to the right. But what you have to take note of is that the date is not part of that slanting, is not part of that indented style. Even after, let's assume that you indent this like this, the date will still remain like this. It is all these other ones that will shift to this side. Papa will move here, Ojo will move a bit, PO box will move to this place, Papa will move to this place, Lagos will move to this place, Nigeria will move to this place, but the date remains on the same line. So take notes of this, all right, if you decide to use the indented style. Now, whichever style you use is acceptable. Now, having said this, the next thing is the salutation. Well, you see, dear Chima. Now, our elder brother we have assumed is Chima. We can write dear brother, but we have chosen to use his first name, dear Chima. Well, since it's your elder brother, perhaps it will be better to write dear brother or dear brother Chima, whichever. But if that is the name you call him, then you can use his first name. Now, what we also need to know is that this is an informal letter, and the tone of this letter has to reflect the familiarity, all right? The familiarity that you share with your brother. So we have given an example of how you can do this here. You can't imagine the excitement I have as I write to you this time. I hope you are doing well in your studies. Here at home, we are all healthy and happy, you see? So you are trying to share a piece of good news with him, so you are starting on that happy note, all right? So it is really acceptable to do that. Then in the next paragraph, we begin to address the contents of our letter. And then we can also invent a scenario or a situation where you had earlier written a letter to him when your father commenced the project. You shared that news with him, and now the project has been completed. It has been built, because that is that's present perfect tense is what is used in the question. Your father has just built, which means is completed, and probably you have packed into the place, which is why you can describe it. Okay, so you come up with a very appropriate scenario here. Then you said, in my last letter, I can remember I informed you about a building project that our father had just commenced. At that time, he had just commenced it at the time you wrote the letter to him. I am happy to inform you that the project has been completed and we've just moved into the new house. Now you can see that we can use an abbreviated form here. We have also used it here. Now, these are aspects of the language use that makes our use of language informal. And that is exactly part of what the examiner expects us to do. we shouldn't be using very formal tone or language when we are writing an informal letter. All right, so I am happy to inform you that the project has been completed and we've just moved into the new house. All right. I know you'd like, again, you see another short form. I know you'd like to know what the house looks like and the prestige it has accorded our family. That's exactly what I am going to furnish you with in the following paragraphs. You see, so what you need to do here, you can see that this starting point of your letter, sets the tone for the discussion. And so this is your introductory paragraph. The first paragraph, which is supposed to be the introductory paragraph, has only introduced the letter by, making sending some greetings or making inquiries or exchanging pleasantries, which, by the way, is acceptable in an informal letter. So let's now move on to the next page, and we see how we discuss our. Okay, let's leave this still here because we are going to we will need it. All right. In writing. Well, we really need to do away with it because it's going to okay, so we've actually deleted it, but already we have taken note of it. Don't forget that I said your outline should be in one of the last pages, if not the last page of your answer booklet, where you can cancel it out. All right, so, well, it appears there is something missing in this. Okay. Okay, let's see what is happening here. Okay, so we can see quite clearly our next paragraph. All right. Now, it is in this next paragraph that we begin to really discuss the points we have listed in our outline. And so on our outline, we said we were going to start with the location of the house and the physical structure. All right. So how do we do that? To start with, the house is located in Alaba on the popular Ojo Igbede Road. All right, we have stated the location. All right. It's a fully detached 6-bedroom duplex with BQ. For this, an informal letter. So you can use some, you know, acceptable abbreviations. Most people in estate management, they understand that this refers to the boys' quarters. All right. All the rooms are spacious and each of them has a toilet. The building is sited on a full plot and it looks structurally strong and magnificent. All right, so you are describing the house. Then the next point, we are going to say something about the facilities, all right? So we say, moreover, It has a private fenced compound where we have the freedom to park up to 8 cars. It has enough space where the children can play and where the family can host social events. The green areas and beautiful flowers within the fenced compound have given us a natural environment that I can call a villa. All right, so you just give a simple description of the house, and there is no fixed way of describing it. You describe the house in your own way, in your own words. You choose the adjectives in line with the picture you have in your mind of the kind of house you think your father has built. Then we are going to look at the neighborhood and the prestige. Now, above all, we now live in a very secure neighborhood where the people are friendly and cooperative. On the day we moved into the new house, most of the neighbors came in and gave us what looked like a hero's welcome. In fact, the new house has changed the way we are perceived by neighbors. It has accorded the family so much prestige that we all keep thanking God for daddy's foresight and hard work. See, so you have adequately handled the content in line with the examiner's instructions, and that is really what will uh, give you the maximum marks. So here you can just end it the way you always speak with the person, assuming you are talking to them on phone. What you can say to them, you can also replicate here. Give my warm regards to your friends and associates over there. Take care. All right. Then the subscription here will be yours sincerely, Uwa. Full stop. All right. So this is exactly how to write a simple letter that meets Waec's marking criteria, that meets the Waec marking criteria. So this is where we draw the curtain in today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like the video and share it with your friends and relations. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Click on the subscribe button below so that you will be officially subscribed to the channel. And you can also click on the bell icon you will find below, which will activate the notification system so that whenever a new video is uploaded on the channel, you will be instantly notified. I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have been part of today's episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But before I do that, I want to say a few things about some of the recent comments that I got, which of course was instrumental to the writing of this preparing this particular video. All right. So one of them is a comment that actually asked me to give more lectures on letter writing and give illustrations or samples Now, I have done that. There are other requests that have to do with comprehension. I have also uploaded videos on comprehension. Now, what I am saying here is that, whatever comments you make on this particular, on this channel, we usually respond promptly. This video is in response to certain requests from our subscribers who have shown appreciation for the valuable content they have been receiving on the channel. And all of you are highly esteemed viewers and subscribers, and we hold you in high esteem, so much so that whenever you make any comment, we take time to respond to it because we respect every comment you make on this channel. So if you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below because they are all very important. And I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have actually been very supportive of this channel. It is with your support that we have been able to cross, not only go beyond the YouTube 1,000 subscribers mark, but if right now we have gone beyond 2,000 in a very, very short time. This channel is a new one. We started it just a short while ago. So you have shown really that you love this channel, and I want to say a big thank you, and I wish you God's favor in whatever you are doing as well. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye for now, and remain blessed. Many thanks for watching today's video. A big thank you to all of you out there for being part of today's episode. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, kindly subscribe to this channel. Subscribe now as a way of giving us support. For notification about new videos, click on the bell icon. You will find the bell icon. Click on it so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you will be instantly notified. If you have actually enjoyed the video, like and share the video with your friends and relatives. This is very important. If you have any comments, leave your comments below. Any questions, any suggestions, we would gladly receive them and respond promptly and positively to them. See you in the next video. I look forward to always seeing you